We are now on the last week of our Learn from Home theme for August, which is named Tech Train, a month dedicated for the technical trainers of our industry. Since we're on the last month, let's do a very quick recap before the demographic check of our run for the past few months. So we're currently at 71 classes run by volunteer speakers from thought leader organizations all over the world. 18,000 plus live Zoom attendees from all over the country and 798,000 minutes viewed in Zoom with 300,000 plus minutes viewed in Facebook. So of course, thank you for the continued patronage and support for our Learn from Home sessions. And of course, aside from everyone who's watching us, would also like to send our thanks to our very generous speakers and subject matter experts. We're currently at around 45 attendees in our Zoom room. So good morning to everyone. All right. And so we're now currently live via Zoom and Facebook, and you can visit us through our page, which is www.facebook.com/mypstd. The live stream recording of our previous Learn from Home sessions are also uploaded there. So please feel free to view them, to like them, and to share them to your friends and colleagues in the industry. All right. So let me go back to our demographic check, and we have Jen in the room who's going to help us launch this demographics Zoom poll. All right. So we have 3 questions, the usual questions that we've been asking you for the past several sessions that we're running. This is so that our moderator and our speaker could get more context and could provide you better examples and anecdotes as we go along the session for the morning. The first one is, what type of talent development practitioner are you? We have the following possible answers. Are you a soft skills trainer, a technical trainer, an educator, a coach or mentor? Are you currently in your HR admin department? Or are you a manager or executive in your organization, an independent consultant? Or it might be that you might not fall into these options. Where are you calling from? That's question number 2. Are you calling in from Luzon, from Visayas, or from Mindanao? And then lastly, is this your first time in our PSTD Learn from Home series? So while you're answering that, let me just go quickly to the chat because I'm seeing a lot of greetings from everyone. We have here from Pauline. Good morning to you, Pauline. From April Ann. Good morning to you too. Mr. Deng Kibanov. Hello everyone. Hello to you too, sir. We also have from Charles. Who's greeting us a good morning. Mayet, joining you this morning. Good morning to you too from Mandaluyong City. So we're very excited to have everyone, and I'm pretty sure that our moderator and speaker are also excited to share their thoughts about our topic this morning. All right. And I got a note here from Jen that we currently have 23 viewers in Facebook. So that I believe would push us to more or less 100 participants as early as 10:58. It's not even 11 a.m. and people are now very active in our chat room. All right, so we have now closed the poll, and let me walk you through the results of our demographics so far. We have 29% majority of our participants this morning are teachers, followed by soft skill trainers at 23%, and then evenly between technical trainers and managers in their respective organizations at 16% apiece. And then we also have HR admin, of course, as expected, and we have consultants, and then of course lastly we have others that would fall into the 6%. If you have answered others, perhaps you could go to the chat and then tell us what's your current role in your organization, so that we would also know, and possibly perhaps in the future we could provide you a theme, a month dedicated to your respective function. All right. So we have from the chat here, Mr. Romel, good morning. From Ms. Hazel Joy, mapagpalang umaga sa lahat. Okay, and yes. So again, acknowledging Mr. Denki Banov, also from PLDT, and one of our master trainer certification trainers, facilitators. So we're very excited to learn more about our topic this morning. All right, so very quickly, let me just walk you through some of the membership benefits because, of course, aside from us offering free programs, we also offer a whole lot of other programs, paid or otherwise, for the members of our industry. Let's start first by, I'll go through first on the right hand part of the screen. If you're vying to be an individual member of the society, it would only take you 2,800. And if you're a corporate member, that's only at 5,600 pesos. And then on the left hand side, you're going to see a number of benefits that you or your organization could get by being a member of the Philippine Society for Talent Development. All right, and some of them would be access to our e-Tipanan, which is the general membership meeting of PSTD. And speaking of Tipanan, we're going to have our Tipanan later today. So I hope that after LFH, you take your lunch and then we see you again at our Tipanan. I believe that's going to be at 2 p.m. If you're interested, you can just scan the QR code that you're seeing in your screen right now, or go to www.pstd.org. Alternatively, you can also check some of our social media sites or send us an email, especially to the PSTD professional team, which is programs@pstd.org or inquiries@pstd.org. All right. So I guess we've now exceeded 100 attendees if we combine our Zoom and Facebook participants. And we're expecting to hit around 200 to even 300 for the rest of the morning. We're now at 11:01 a.m. So I guess it's now time for me to introduce to you our moderator. All right. So again, our moderator, I'm very excited to introduce to you because this is the first time that I'll be working with our moderator. So our moderator is currently serving as a trustee to the PSTD Board of Trustees and a 2018 Gawad Maestro L&D Manager of the Year. The HR Associate Director of St. Luke's. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our moderator for this morning. Let's all welcome Miss Irene Isleta. Good morning, Irene.
Thanks, Lo, for that introduction. Can you hear me? Am I clear to you?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thanks. So good morning, everyone. Still excited, although this is my third time to moderate in the PSTD Learn from Home series. So before we proceed to this session this morning, may I just remind everyone that you'll be put on mute mode to manage the flow of information and also to avoid the lull. So please use the Q&A tab found at the middle bottom of your screen for your questions. I will keep track of the questions for our speaker. If you want to just give your comment or input about the topic, feel free to use the chat box, which is found beside the Q&A tab. And when you do, please make sure to pin your question to all panelists. And these features may only be used by those who are joining us in Zoom. So our theme for this Learn from Home session is actually about how to effectively manage rapid change and being successful with it. It's about a tech giant's agile adoption rather, or transition into this what everyone calls the new normal. You see, being an HR and L&D leader of an organization as our organization, such as St. Luke's, the impact of the pandemic during its early days kind of stressed me out, as an L&D leader in HR. I am very sure that most of you here can relate to that, right? So you are asked to suddenly stop the face-to-face classroom sessions. And in my discussions with former colleagues from the academe and other training consultants, one of these professions gravely hit by the pandemic is the L&D profession. And that includes the trainers, the consultants, and the teachers, or the academicians and educators. Kasi we weren't ready technologically rather. So it immensely hit us because we were so used to face-to-face interactions, which is, I think, very cultural. The pandemic came as a surprise. Pandemic. Well, surprises are the new normal anyway, no, nowadays. So, and here to share with us a story and the challenges that went with with PLDT in their technical training journey is its technical training head. He is a certified technical trainer and a project management practitioner who has been in the IT training profession for 25 years already. Colleagues in HR and talent development, please join me in welcoming our speaker for today's Learn from Home series session, Mr. Elmer Ferrer. Hi, Elmer. Your turn now.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Elmer. Tama yung sinabi ni Irene. It's quite a challenge now in the L&D profession. No? What I'm here to present to you is our experience in our move to digital learning. Yung journey namin for my company. Medyo nape-pressure ako because my boss is in the crowd. Sir Deng is a seasoned PSTD speaker. No? This is my first time to speak at PSTD. As early as now, I'm telling you that this journey is not a short one, nor that this is over na for us. No? Like the song said, we've only just begun. Fortunately, I had the privilege to be present when we started this journey way back at the turn of the century. No? It started then, and we kept on improving minimal, in gradual, in baby steps, as you may call it. No? Medyo maganda yung naging experience namin kasi we were met with challenges like what Irene has said. The acceptance of the digital learning is very true. So allow me to share my screen first. Yeah, my deck. So this is the story of how PLDT technical training adapted to the new normal. Sabi ko nga, this is not a short journey. So let me start by what am I going to discuss. I'll touch a bit on what are the challenges that we encountered, and then what we did to prepare for the digital learning, and I'll show you a snapshot of the results when we were forced to go to the new normal, to go fully digital, ika nga, when the pandemic struck. No? So ipapakita namin sa inyo yung challenges that we faced, how we prepared our trainers, what are the systems that we embarked on, and especially how we prepared the employees. Okay. So, being a technology company, ito yung bread and butter namin, no? The technology. And it changes very fast. People need to be continuously upskilled. When they are comfortable now with the technology, a new one arises, and then we have to play catch up. So it's very challenging for us technical trainers to catch up with the technology. And classroom training won't be enough for them. No, we need to have a new mode of training so that we can be agile and we could develop the people as the need arises. So ito yung situation namin sa company, no? So medyo mabilis yung turnover. So allow me to show you in a slide the milestone that we underwent when we went to the digital learning. So notice at the bottom part of my slide, ito yung network speed progression that we have encountered as the years go by, no? Yung first attempt namin to the virtual classroom is around the year 2000. So kung titingnan niyo yung network, no, it's around 2 Mbps pa lang yung speed. Now that is a challenge, no? The network stability is a challenge. And then there are not much virtual classroom platforms that we have. Fortunately, we were able to acquire a platform that is very stable, which is called Macromedia Breeze Live. It's a virtual classroom platform. Unfortunately, by this time ata na buyout na siya ng Adobe. No, itong panahon na to, panahon pa to ng Friendster, panahon pa to ng MySpace. And if you'd like to chat, the chat is YM. I guess some of you are familiar with the Yahoo Messenger as your chat room, no? So ito yung panahon na yon. What are the challenges that we met here? The network stability, the virtual classroom platform, minsan hindi nagwo-work, and then hardware requirements. Videos, we need to acquire webcams, we need to acquire audio equipment. And then the hardest challenge that we faced during this time is the people that we are training. Medyo hindi nila accepted yung virtual classroom. They are very much comfortable with having a face-to-face interaction with the trainers. Sanay sila that the trainer is up front. So we need to get over that hump. So that's the first one, the first attempt of our virtual classroom. And then by the year 2002, we launched our CBT system. We acquired a CBT system, and then we rebranded it as LearnNet, learning from the net. Ang nag-coin nito si Mr. Kibanov. No? What we did to implement this system is we used the PLDT's internal network. And then, unfortunately, there are certain limitations to this platform also, because it can host only out-of-the-box courses. Meaning, when we acquire the system, we acquire also the courses that we want from the vendor. And then, the internal courses that we conduct, we cannot host it on the CBT system. So, that's the second milestone. By 2003, there is a requirement for us. Ito medyo nagiging heavy na ang sales ng PLDT on the digital subscriber line. So yung DSL. And there are troubles from the copper technology that needs to be addressed by training technicians. And we need to train 1,500 plus technicians virtually in a span of 1 month. So what we did, we took out the Macromedia Breeze Live and we use it to conduct blended learning. So hindi pa namin alam yung concept ng blended learning by this time, hindi pa namin nadidinig. We use that already. What we did is we are about 11 trainers, technical trainers in our team. So we deployed them to different parts of the country. And they conducted their lectures kung saan sila naka-assign. So they were given assignments, slots in the 5-day program so that everybody could deliver the lecture. And habang kung hindi ikaw ang nagle-lecture, you'll act as facilitators. The remaining 10 guys will act as facilitators. So we were able to train more than 1,500 technicians virtually in a span of a month. So that's one milestone that we did. So But the technology, the speed of the network, the hardware is still wanting. Okay. By the year 2013, PLDT acquired Office 365. And boy, the tools of Office 365 enabled us to digitize most of our contents. And then we were able to gather requirements from the clients, our employees. And then we were able to deliver our learning materials via SharePoint and by the collaboration tools. And then by the year 2015, internally we developed and implemented the Moodle platform. In case some of you doesn't know, Moodle is a learning management system that we use. This enabled us to digitize our learning content. Yung internally developed courses namin were digitized and we were able to implement it and share it via the Moodle platform. After that, medyo naging comfortable, no? Digital, somewhat. And then comes last year. Last year, dahil nag-pick up din yung sales ng fiber connection, we were tasked to develop and train again 2,500 newly hired employees virtually. The challenge is we need to train the 2,500 for 2 weeks per batch. So we need to train them for a month, in the span of 3 months. So what we did, we made use of, again, the blended learning approach. And then we made use of the new tools that was given to us by Office 365, which is Microsoft Teams. And then we made use, for the practical training, we made use of our subject matter experts. So lastly, this year, by March, the pandemic left us with no option but to go fully digital. So that is our journey for the digital learning, no? And then notice medyo yung technology was catching up with our requirements na. So we started medyo ang higher speed for the internet is 2 Mbps. Right now, we have the capability to deploy 1 gigabit per second na speed. Kaya medyo seamless na yung ano. Like now, I'm delivering this session at home. Okay. Allow me to show you how we did this. Sabi ko nga, this is not a short journey and this is not over. Okay. The first thing we did is we invested. On what? I'll show you later. And then we transitioned from the investment, we made use of the investment, and we transitioned baby steps. No, hindi full transition agad. In-invest, and then kinuha, and then in-implement. We need to prepare also the culture and the acceptability of our employees. And then is the time to implement. Okay, so what did we invest on? First, we invest on technology, syempre. No? We invested on platforms from Macromedia Live, Breeze Live, from Moodle, and then our smart counterparts also invested in Litmos. And later on, we will be investing on a new platform which is called SuccessFactor. SuccessFactor Learning. No? So that's what we need. And then the digital apps, we invested on Office 365, including Microsoft Teams, including SharePoint, and all the Office 365 software and all the other apps found like OneHub, and then our all the apps involved in the Office 365. And then we invented also in a library system so that our learning materials can be deployed digitally. So we use Odilo for this one. I'll show you a bit of this later. And then, hindi lang kami sa technology nag-invest. We invested also in our people. So our technical guys, we implemented a global certification program so that they can learn the technology and they can be expert on the technology itself. And then our internal trainers were enrolled in the diploma program. So some were enrolled in the diploma program on learning and development at LaSalle. Personally, I was enrolled in Ateneo, same program, Human Resource Management and Development. And then we develop our internal capabilities by training our subject matter experts. So, hindi lang yung mga trainers ang dinevelop namin, we partnered with our line. The experts in the line, we developed them to be subject matter experts by training them how to teach. And also, we invested in methodologies. So we trained on the pedagogical approach. That's a mouthful. And then our methodology on blended learning. And most importantly, we invested in our quality management system, which is ISO, so that everything can be improved and continuously be improved. So that's how we did our investment. So technology, people, methodology. And then we transitioned slowly. So we digitized our content. Hindi naman lahat kasi ready eh. Out of the box, ready. We need to develop our content and we need to digitize them. So slowly, one of our target KRAs is to develop our content and slowly transition them into the digital platform. So what we did is we created something like this, a storyboard for the e-learning. And then we develop our own e-learning systems. So that's one of our trainers. And then we also are investing on a digital library. So everything can be found here. We could use the out-of-the-box content, and also we could deploy our own content here at the digital library. Ni-retire na namin, we have an extensive library, yung physical library, but by this year, we'll be retiring it and everything will be found on this digital library. So that's the first transition. We digitized our content. When ready na yung content, we now conducted blended learning methodologies. So when you say blended, we combined e-learning, we combined virtual classes, and we have face-to-face. So here are some snapshots of our virtual classes. And then when it comes to hands-on, we invested also on our e-laboratories, like this one that we use for Cisco. And then we used our digital platforms also. So blended learning na. So we also used our digital platforms. So pinakita ko na, this is one of our LMS, which is Litmus. So all the internal content, internal courses that we digitize, we could deploy it here. We also have out-of-the-box courses that we can get and we could deploy it here. We also have our Microsoft Teams. This is now the new way of communicating for PLDT. Everybody's now meeting via Microsoft Teams. We also have our PLDT events app. This app answers the need for online attendance and online evaluation. We could use this. And also we have our Moodle app. By the way, all these platforms can be accessible via the internet, via the internal network, and via whichever gadget that you have. If you have a smartphone, if you have a tablet, if you have a laptop or a desktop, you could access all these platforms there. How is it so far? Irene, do we have questions?
Yes, we have a question here from Zygmunt Rabara. Hi, Elmer. What
Yeah.
tips can you give for a company that needs to fast track its learning digitization journey or rapid nga, no? How can you get quick wins and also get the employees to quickly embrace the new methodologies?
Well,
I think there are 3 questions there, Elmer. Go ahead.
the situation now is an opportunity because everybody is going digital. They don't have a choice but to go digital. Otherwise, they have to go outside of their house. So this is now the opportunity for us to implement digital learning. Now, how do we invest on the technology? Fortunately, ang daming naging popular na technology ngayon. Even the mere Facebook Messenger can be used, no? Para mabilis yung deployment nyo. Kasi now, if you have noticed, Facebook Messenger enables you now to share your screen so that you could embark on digital learning through Facebook Messenger. Another option is what we're using now, which is Zoom. It's free. Although pag yung free version na kinuha nyo, it's limited to 40 minutes, no? But you could invest. It's only around 800 per month to get to the professional, and you have unlimited time for each session. So everybody's doing that. The tools are there. The technology is ready. So now you could transition. Ang kailangan mo na lang first is to digitize your content. Hindi pwedeng naka-hard copies ka pa. Hindi pwede, it's very easy now to digitize content by sending PDFs, by sharing files. It's very easy. Now, for our version of the Office 365 platform, there's also a free version of that. You could use Google Docs. It's free, and you could use it to share materials. So I hope na-answer ko yun. Irene?
Yes, I think you answered it pretty well, no, very well. There's another one, Elmer. I don't know if you can answer this now. Okay lang ba? I can read it for you. Okay.
I think
okay.
I can
All
give.
right. Okay. So I hope I will pronounce her or his name correctly. Sarali Alcaraz. Hi, Elmer. Just curious, did you encounter, this is a good question, no? Did you encounter any resistance to change? Parang it can be overwhelming for a non-techie matured person. Okay. How did you manage it? All right. I think you earlier parang sabi mo merong may challenge talaga, no? Yung sa resistance.
Let me
answer Elmer.
one word. Immensely. You know that PLDT is a 90-year company, and there are matured employees that is resistant to change. What we did is hindi namin binigla yung implementation. So first, tinry namin
for the matured.
Yeah, for the matured people, tinrain namin sila. And then, fortunately, the PLDT leaders are now transitioning also. No? Medyo bumabata yung leadership ng PLDT and they are now very tech savvy. But prior, yung years na dinaanan namin, yung 2000, yun yung first challenge namin. Gusto ko sasabihin ng, not even the employees. The employees are very accepting of the digital learning. But the line heads is the first one to resist. We implemented our virtual classroom. Sabi ko, we can conduct this now, but they keep on requesting for us to go to a certain region to conduct the training. So we need to manage that. And then unti-unti ginawa namin. So muna kami, sample muna ng virtual classes. Hindi fully lahat ng courses namin inilagay muna namin sa virtual classes. First we transitioned yung mga quick hits, ginawa namin virtual classes. And then some we deployed as e-learning na lang. Kasi yung the mere processes, the mere knowledge part of the training, we placed it in our e-learning platform. So, ang ginawa namin, prior to you attending the class, you need to finish the e-learning module first. Yun yung ginawa naming scheme. So, hindi sila makaka-attend ng classroom training unless natapos nila yung e-learning scheme. So, baby steps. Sabi ko nga, baby steps. It's a very tedious process, but eventually, medyo pag palagi na nilang ginagawa, masasanay din sila. And then eventually, by this year, when the pandemic struck, everybody's ready, everybody accepting, and everybody has no choice. Ika nga. So I hope nakakapag ako ng pointers. So I guess
I think those are just the two questions for now. So again, for the participants, we want you to use the Q&A and just share your thoughts. Go ahead, Elmer.
Okay. So going back to what I said prior to the Q&A in between, so we invested, we transitioned, and then we implemented. No? So allow me to give you a snapshot of what we implemented earlier. So notice, this is this year. Nung sanay pa kami sa classroom training, face-to-face training, no? This is what our output is. The e-learning has 60 graduates. And then the face-to-face, the classroom trainings has 435 graduates. So that's from January to the middle of March. When we were forced to go and work from home due to the lockdown, the first 2 weeks of March, medyo nag-prepare lang kami a bit for the new normal. And then we implemented this. Notice, this is out of, as of the end of June. We were able to train 3,059 via e-learning. That this is all technical. Our soft skills training, we're doing their bit also. I think we have around 16,000 graduates because we implemented a system-wide training on adapting to a new normal. It's very critical also that we have sessions on not only the technical side, but also the soft skill side, no? So our counterpart, if you know Nonong Noriega, has developed courses on adapting to the new normal so that everybody is ready to adapt. And then we implemented. So on the the second quarter, we were able to train 746 via webinars, via virtual classes, and then 3,059 via e-learning. Let me remind you that our target for the year is 4,500, and we met this by the end of July. So by the end of June, we were able to train 4,273. So one of our target is for us to develop or train 4,500 by 2020. But by a little bit over the mid-year, we were able to meet that target. And look at the result of the rating. So this is the course rating and for our e-learning, 4.47 in the scale of 1 to 5. And the course rating for webinars is 4.63 and 4.7. It's quite accepted. It's quite an accepted fact that we were able to adjust to the new normal quickly. It just so happened that our investment from 20 years ago are now made us ready to adjust to this new normal. So medyo ang daming pinagdaanan namin step by step so that we will be ready. And fortunately, when the situation caused by COVID-19 made us conduct everything online, we were ready. Okay, so we were able to digitize 9 courses. We were able to develop 15 courses, and we are developing now 5 courses. By the way, I guess we'll be training more because we're PLDT is hiring by this end of by this 4th quarter. They'll be hiring again new technicians. So we'll be adding to this total, and we will be exceeding our targets by this year. No, we already exceeded it. We'll be adding to that, and then we'll have more by the end of the year. Any more questions? Baka may tanong kayo regarding these numbers.
Yes, Elmer, we have 4 questions here. Maybe we can answer quickly.
Yes.
Cherry Tuazon asks, when designing the blended courses, did you use online resources as part of the learning materials? And then follow up ko na from her also, any tips on how to curate online resources? No? Curation kasi ngayon medyo uso na rin no? Yeah.
Developing online materials, let me go back a bit. So here's what we did. No? It's a simple PowerPoint presentation. What we did is we developed storyboards. No? This enabled us to visualize what our digital materials would look like. So if you would notice, this is just this is the right side would be what the screen would look like, and the left side would be the script that would be following the. This is how we develop our e-learning materials or our online or digital materials. And then we use Adobe Captivate to transition it into a SCORM compliant material wherein we could put it via Moodle, we could put it via Litmus. By the way, why is there 2 platforms for PLDT and Smart? This includes also Smart. Yung numbers na pinakita ko, this is for PLDT lang. Why? Because Litmus is for all those regular employees, but we have vendors and we have contractors and we have non-organic employees that we need to train also, the sales, the outside technicians, etc. We use Moodle to deploy learning materials to them, because Moodle we could enroll or register non-organic employees for that. So this is how we create. And we made use of our SharePoint portal. So the SharePoint enables us to collaborate. So lahat ng materials na ito, we have a central repository. We develop a SharePoint portal for technical training. And all our materials were there para hindi lahat nag-reinvent, hindi lahat nagde-develop. All the materials out there, they could pick up materials that they need for a course that they were developing. Okay, so is there more?
Okay. Okay, siguro two more, and then we still have time naman, no? From Geraldine Naraha, since PLDT has started going virtual even before the start of this pandemic, how did you monitor the higher level outcomes or the impact, no, of these virtual trainings? Yeah.
So periodically, we conduct level 4 evaluations. No? From Kirkpatrick's model, di ba? You have level 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the impact to business.
Right.
So by the end of every calendar year, we conduct level 4 evaluation so that we know that the learning interventions that we're doing is meeting the requirements of the business, the requirements of the company. So is there an impact to the bottom line? Is there, are the people able to do what they have learned from the learning development programs, etc. And then also, our technical people is assessed from time to time so that we know what are the gaps in training. So we conduct assessments to our technical people. So like for our technicians, periodically, if they let's say for a year, they perform for a year, by the next year we conduct assessment if they are still on standards. They do everything on standard in what we have, and according to what we have taught them. And then we also look into things that are readily trainable. So if there are skills gap that we see, we conduct training. And then we embark also on what is called the, it's a project that I'm part of. It's called Project Polymath, wherein we develop curriculums based on the roles that are defined by the line. So kung ang mga line mo, it has a role on developing, let's say, network guys. Let's say, right now we're transitioning from the traditional telco network to a virtualized network. So ano ba yung mga training programs that are required? So the Project Polymath enables us to identify which training programs are necessary for those people who are transitioning from one technology to another technology. So, yun.
So you also use varied forms of assessment, no, including like what the other companies use also, performance gaps, right? No, yeah. Performance gaps and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Anything else? I guess we
okay, so siguro later, so we can ask the questions unless you want to answer them now, no?
Okay. I think I just have a few more slides. Let me finish this.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
How we did it, we played to our strengths also. No? So the technology for our company is there. We invested in so much technology. We invested in so much learning technology. And also, we invested also on the people. Not only the technical training guys, but we also invested on our subject matter experts, which became our trainers also. sila yung naging partner namin in developing their peers. So we play to these two strengths to develop our digital learning materials. And then, ang advantage kasi ng mga SMEs, binibigyan namin sila ng first-hand information. When we start to conduct new training courses, let's say for digital, sila yung first to sila yung may ticket doon sa premier, ika nga. No, they're the first one that we train on, and then we gain feedback from them, baka mayroong enhancement na kailangang magawa before we enable them to deploy among their peers the training. So that's how we did it, no? So yung lahat ng investments na ginawa namin, lahat from the technology, from the people, and the methodology, we put it and we use it to develop our digital learning ecosystem. Okay, so that's how we did it, no? Invest, transition, and then we implemented. Of course, sabi ko nga at the start of this lecture, it is not over. We only just begun. We continuously evaluate our courses. So sabi ko nga, we have evaluations like we have course level 1 and 2 evaluations at the end of the course. We conduct at year-end level 3 and 4 evaluation with the line heads and the business. And then we continuously improve. Ang maganda dito, all the trainers in our team, including the learning and development team, are capable to develop courses and to improve on the courses that they have. And then we started going digital. No? Right now, I could say that we are fully digital dahil nga naka-work from home most of the people. And then they conduct their trainings while they're at home. And then we continuously update our learning materials and even our platforms. Like what I've said before, we are now investing on newer platforms that we can transition what is existing and dadali namin ulit to a newer platform. Well, okay, I guess that's it. I still have time for Q&A. So I still have around 10 to 15 minutes, I guess.
Okay, so from Christopher Jed, indeed, the digital transformation was a great opportunity that brought a lot of benefits to an organization following the tech people methodology approach like PLDT. So his question is, were there risks or negative effects, no, if there are any, that an organization developing to adopt such measures should be wary, aside from resistance to change or technology? Yeah.
Well,
were there negative effects? Good question, yeah.
In any endeavor, there are certainly risks, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the risk is that you were not able to monitor fully what's on the other side of the line. Those are the risks, no? Hindi
Right.
na mismo talaga yung e-learning o pinasasagutan doon sa kasamahan. But again, with
Oo, 'di ba? Parang that's a big challenge talaga, no, sa atin. Naintindihan ba talaga nila 'yon?
What we did is we have to institute checkpoints, no? Para lang malaman namin na, let's say, in-assess namin and then na-perfect niya yung assessment. So, at the end of the day, tinitingnan din namin yung yung performance nila. Kasi tinitingnan na we have PLDT instituted performance management system also, which is online. also if they're meeting their targets. So if they're meeting our targets, that's fine. So walang problema doon. But if there are certain things that we need, may certain checkpoints kami, like for that periodic assessment, let's say for our technicians, we conduct periodic assessments so that we would be able to ensure that everyone is at par to what's expected of them. No, of course there are risks dyan kasi alam mo naman ang Pinoy, hahanap at hahanap ng paraan yan para makaikot eh. But
Yeah.
as possible, we try to to institute checkpoints at every step para hindi malusutan.
Right, right.
So,
Okay. I think, yeah, those and I agree with you. Ano, that has always been a challenge. How effective ba is what you're doing virtually, you know, compared to the face-to-face and classroom training. So there's another question from, sige, si Erzaline Lorenzo. Other than making some e-learning prerequisite, how do you motivate employees, no, to take virtual classes or trainings? May mga ginagawa ba kayo na paandat, ganyan?
yes,
For them to attend, no?
first and foremost, we integrate learning requirements to our performance management system. So if you don't get trained, you don't get promoted. That's one motivation.
Correct.
And also, hindi lang kami nagte-train, we also advertise. So every now and then you would see from your email that we have this learning program and this is free and you could take it and you could join it anytime that you want. So surprisingly, when the pandemic struck, everybody went on a learning mode lahat. No,
Right.
learning mode. Wala naman akong ginagawa din sa bahay, mag-aral na lang ako. So they
I can relate.
the time to now is the best opportunity for us to train the people talaga. Kasi
Correct.
they now find that what they do at the office, including the long commutes, meron silang excess time ngayon for them to learn. So sometimes our learning programs stretch up to 6:30 or 7:30. Bakit nakaka-attend yung mga tao? Because before the pandemic, they spend that time commuting. Now they have the learn. And they really do attend. It's surprising, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So, ito. Does this mean, sir, all employees have the resources of good connection and technology to access all the e-learning or platforms available? Not all, but what we do is we have also, ngayon kasi we were allowed to go to the office na. No? But ang ginawa namin doon sa e-learning content namin, it is very light, that not heavy on videos actually. Yung face-to-face, yung webinars medyo heavy on videos. But the e-learning content is very light that they don't need much data to access it. Even their cell phones can access, the e-learning portal.
Yeah.
Even in their cell phones, they could access the Microsoft Teams. So, yon.
Okay, so those are the prerequisites. So siguro last question tayo, Elmer, for you to answer. How long? Ito, same question ko to eh. I have my notes here. How long does it usually take for you to develop your courses and converting it to digital? So there's design, development, and conversion. No?
So I'll hit two answers here, two questions here. So how long is the duration of the e-learning courses? Normally, if you sit right through it, you could finish it at the most 1 hour. at the most. Pero
Pagka nag-focus ka talaga.
isang in one sitting, you could finish it in 1 hour. Baka kung medyo gusto binabalik-balikan mo, 2 hours at the most. That's how long. No, but most of the modules are bite-sized. You can finish it in 30 minutes. Now, how long do we develop e-learning courses? In a week's time siguro natatapos namin yung storyboard. So in review kasi we do that, we review in our daily meeting. We make sure that we review everything. And then conversion to an e-learning version would take about a week. So 2 weeks tops.
Okay, so almost 2 months. No?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's the last question, and we have a very engaging and wonderful discussion, very productive 1 hour talaga, less than 1 hour. There's still a process, no, to be followed, no matter how rapid the change is, right, no, Elmer, and that there's a need to invest, then transition, and then implement. And the most important thing is measure the effectiveness also. Sabi nga ni former PSTD 2006 president, no, break it to me gently to the matured adults, no. And I'm sure there's still a lot of questions to be asked from Elmer, but I think it was captured by most of the questions already answered, no. So with that, we would like to thank our speaker, Elmer Ferrer. Yay! Thank you, Elmer, for joining us. And I now give back the floor to Law. Law?
Thank you, Irene, for wonderfully moderating our session this morning. And of course, thanks again, Elmer, for sharing with us PLDT's journey of learning transformation in this new normal. I'm sure our audience definitely learned and picked up something from the experiences that you've shared. At 12:04, 12:05, we've actually peaked at almost 200 participants. So once again, thank you so much for attending and the continued support for PSTD and for our Learn From Home series. Once again, this is Lawrence Ko, and on behalf of the Philippine Society for Talent Development, I look forward to seeing you in our upcoming learning sessions. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.